how founders can take insights at the right time. Hi, Patrick from the Founder Revenue Academy. This episode is part of our proposition series and is episode number 6. So let's get started. I want to focus this video on 2 bits. So first, it will be who you can and should get insights from. And secondly, how important your stage of business is and how it relates to advice. First up, your network is an incredible, often untapped resource. And it's often available for you to dive into to often see what you need. So if it's resources like the Founder Revenue Academy, then great. But there are also other advisors and mentors that you could take advantage of. So the world is hyper-connected now, that even only after 2 or 3 connections away, maybe from a friend or a family member or somebody you used to work with, there could be an ideal mentor or an advisor to you. So dependent on where you are now, perhaps you've just started your business and you are amassing all the advisors around you, or you're thinking about who you might need. There are some tips that I've got for this. So number 1 is to consider an advisor as a sparring partner. So as opposed to a student-teacher type relationship, an advisor should be someone you feel comfortable having a debate with, for them to take the opposing view to your thinking, making you constantly defend your position, fighting your way out, having been backed into a corner. So this is a process you'll go through a lot as a founder, and getting your reps in here will be very, very good training. And the second one is to develop boundaries. So what I mean is to set the relationship up so that you have a regular cadence. You agree what's going to be brought to each meeting by way of an agenda ahead of time or something like that, and you formalize it. There also could be some sort of financial transaction involved, because as soon as money's swapping hands, there's more of an emotional kind of connection to that. So this is obviously something that most good advisors and mentors will often say. It's unlikely you'd get it for free all the time. This doesn't mean it needs to be a stuffy sort of corporate meeting, but more to ensure both sides are getting the most out of the time together. For example, if you've managed to get a particular mentor who's very busy, an hour of their time is worth a lot of money, so therefore you want to maximize that amount of time as is possible. So sending an agenda ahead of time so they know what you want to talk about will help frame the discussion. Another reason why mentors and advisors are best not to be families and friends also, because the issue is that they will often tell you what you want to hear and not respectfully challenge you. The third one is to see the relationship as a credit and debit system, a bit like a bank account. So you need to deposit money a certain amount of times before you can debit out. So when you start the relationship, remember to give before you ask for anything. So asking up front without making any deposits won't work. I go into more detail on this in the partnership module we do on the platform, because it's often an area founders fall down. They sort of they meet someone for the first time and then just try and get all the information. So whether it might be, who can you introduce me into your network? Who do you know who might buy it? Will you buy it? All this sort of stuff. And it automatically will turn people off. So that's kind of the advisor mentors in terms of how important they can be. The second part of the video is, and I borrowed from the Harvard Business Review in 1981, their article titled, "A Small Business is Not a Little Big Business." You're a startup and you're in a state of resource poverty, meaning personnel, experience, and most importantly, cash is in finite supply. So therefore, adopting big business process and shoehorning it into work for your small business simply doesn't work, because you're not able to predict the cash flow that bigger businesses can. So if it's something that doesn't work out, a big business can swallow the cost and move on. You can't. So I'll give an example. Some businesses like the idea of having 2 channels for their leads. So one inbound and one outbound. Yes, an honourable intention, but without any customers right now, how can you expect it to work? The end-to-end process of converting a stranger into a customer needs to be done at least 10 times before you should even consider splitting this out. And even after 10 customers, this may be premature. The reason why big businesses can do this is because they've gone through this process for first version, second version, third version, 20th version, to get to the stage now where they can split out outbound motion and an inbound motion and have different people because they've got the demand there and they've got everything running. That's not you at the moment. So don't take what big businesses do and assume it's going to work for you, because big business isn't small business. Small startup businesses can work quicker, and by design have to work out what works for them specifically. So believe me, when you go through the repetitions, you will spot the pinch points and areas to improve, and your process will begin to iterate. And so finally, you need to document this as you go. So write down what you do, what you say, etc. Because when you grow, this will save you months, especially when it comes to new joiners. So that wraps up today's video. Remember, we create these videos a lot to help our founders and run these mini-series and all the key pillars of scaling B2B tech startups. So if you haven't seen the other videos in this proposition series or the other series at all, please check them out. And also don't forget to join our community, which is the link below, where you'll see all this content and get to interact with many like-minded founders. I'll see you in there.